So I think we've been asking some hard questions as this pandemic explodes around us. And I am a Christian. I am not naive. I, however, am a creature of hope. I believe in the power of hope. Hope, even at this time, or especially at this time. Because hope is transformational, and it is hope that we need from the grace of God at this time. I have experienced the sustaining hope from that grace of God, and I know others of you have too. And so we turn to those memories of hope experienced to animate us and keep us going now. One word is being used in every circle of life right now, and it's pivot. You know, if you did a Google search of how many times the word pivot was used in 2020, it would astound you. Because we've been talking about pivoting as that kind of quick change that is a response. So that a brewery and a distillery suddenly making hand sanitizers have pivoted. The restaurants who always welcomed customers and now are figuring out new ways to deliver food have pivoted. And we as a church, how we miss having congregational gatherings, how we miss our congregation. But we have pivoted to new ways of being, using technology, and even the old-fashioned telephone. So we had a prayer today from Dr. Lydia Smith, who chairs the worship desk at the National Church, in which she had this beautiful line. She said, "Together we dream about the country we hope to become." So this last week I've been asking some people, what does that mean to you? I'd like to share that with you now. I've often heard of a growing consciousness, a consciousness born in the natural environment of the shutdown, when the skies were clear because planes were grounded, when we could hear the sounds of birds and of nature because there weren't so many cars on the road, when we could smell the flowers because the fumes were not from fuels. The dream was given sense by that what might be possible to hold on to that wonderful sense of nature. Someone else talked to me about the work of Abram X. Kendi, an American professor, who writes about anti-racism. And he expressed the dream that all would have a way to address systemic racism. And this is a helpful series of articles and books that will help us take action by not labeling a person, but by actions, so that we can do anti-racist actions, one after another. But somebody else did remind me of the racism that had been part of the COVID-19 response, racism expressed right here in British Columbia. Tragically, and their wish and dream was that we could all unite against the pandemic, not against each other. Racist acts and violence are not restricted to any one city or even any one demographic group. We here at First Metropolitan United Church were genuinely pained to read that the Black Lives Matter sign in front of the Mill Bay United Church, just up the island from us, was defaced this week. We dream about the Vancouver Island that we hope to become. One spoke of the lingering spiritual effects of the pandemic and the time spent in our homes, sorting, organizing, getting enough sleep, making bread. They hoped we would stop as the barriers are lifted, and prayer was that on this Canada Day weekend, we would think about what is really important and wish we could hold on to the sense of the priorities we rediscovered during the lockdown. Others spoke of the reflections learned these past few months and the prayer that we might keep on reevaluating the pace of our life. challenging our early cultural associations with being super busy as being super good. And so that we would be focused into the future, not just on the pandemic, freeing up resources to make our world more safe for more people. It was encouraging for me to ask these questions and hear these dreams. The intentionality behind these words comes in the midst of world news that we all read and share. The work done in Kenya that was just shared on that Mission and Service Fund video to create a safe house for the QIA, and Two-Spirit community inspires us with the courage of those people who receive death threats. 1 cup of water, Jesus said. 1 cup can make all the difference. Of course, that's not to be taken literally. We're asked to offer, what is it? As simple as 1 cup of water that we can offer today, during the pandemic, on Canada Day, to another person who is thirsty for whatever that is. That beautiful image Jesus gives us propels us forward on dark days and causes us to rejoice on days that are marked by compassion and courage. When compassion and courage travel together, beautiful things can happen. In the paraphrase called The Message, Jesus said, "This is a large work I've called you into, but don't be overwhelmed by it. It's best to start small. Give a cool cup of water to someone who is thirsty, for instance. The smallest act of giving or receiving makes you a true apprentice. You won't lose out on a thing." To paraphrase Nelson Mandela, Canada, our beautiful, our fragile land, may your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears. Amen.